Brenda, I'm so glad you're here in Haiti. It's like I've been blessed and honored. Our students, Micah scholars in Haiti, these future leaders of the church, next generation, are honored, and I've appreciated your teaching and preaching and writing from afar, and now to see it up close is wonderful. So first of all, thank you for being here. Secondly, you spent the last couple of days with pastors, and then especially with these young seminarians. Now, what have you been teaching them this week? What have you been?
Well, it's been an honor for me. Part of my call, as I describe it, is to raise up or mentor, empower the next generation of emerging leaders.
Yeah.
So we're really in similar, I think, spheres of influence. What you're doing here in Haiti is what I hope to do with the work I do in the United States. And so looking at the issue of leadership and social responsibility and engagement has really been what we've tried to wrestle with, because I think as we think about what leadership is intended to do and what we need these emerging leaders to understand about their leadership is that it's not just in a vacuum that they'll be leading. It's in a context, a political, social context. And for the Haitian students to grapple with that this week has been a real honor and joy to watch them make those applications.
Yeah. Now we hear them singing right now. They're singing great. But and what have you learned from? What have you taken from them, or anything you've learned this week as you've talked to, especially as you've talked about Esther, the story of Esther?
Yeah, I think so much. I'll probably have to still process it long after I'm gone. But I think I have certainly seen the similarities of a global culture, because many of the struggles of Haiti are tied to things that we struggle with in the United States. And some of the problems in Haiti, they're not isolated problems. Reading the book on the plane here about the history of Haiti, there's always more that goes on that's caused the country to have whatever challenges it faces. That's not just about the challenges in that country. It's the global influences, United States included, that has made it what it is. So that's been a big aha for me. I think how much receptivity and welcome I received. I was very concerned, just as a woman, understanding the conservative nature of the church. And what I found was people who really are hungry to grapple with and willing to hear me out. Probably has some differences in how we see women in ministry and who should be a reverend and who should not. But even in that context, I was never treated with disrespect, but always welcomed as a sister and a person of the church who at least was listened to. And the words that I shared, the principles that I put out there, even when we talked about some tough stuff, and the guys had to ask about marriage and submission, stuff we struggle with in the United States too, if we're honest. But I was never received with disrespect, always with true engagement. And for that, I'm deeply, deeply grateful.
And then one last question is, like, when you think about the students you work with, like in your classes and your church, and as you go around speaking, you think of the students here. You saw that yesterday we talked about all the social issues here that are serious things they're wrestling with as young leaders, and in the U.S. we're wrestling with serious issues, racial and other. In the U.S. What makes you hopeful about the next generation, as you've got a little glimpse here and then you work in the U.S.? Like, what makes you hopeful about the next generation coming up?
I am hopeful because of that next generation. I think the things that we in my generation and older struggle with, wrestle with, debate about, they're not debating about it. They already believe and understand that they're global. They already understand that diversity is a part of the world that they're inheriting, and they understand that social change is a part of what they've inherited, that they must engage social change. They're not quite sure yet how to do it, and the same is true in the United States. We're still trying to say to ourselves, I know we have to engage. We know something has to be done. We're not exactly sure what, but we're asking you, people like Kent, people like Dr. Brenda, people who are coming from other places, our professors, they are hungry for strategies. And I appreciate them for that. It gives me great hope that they want to know what to do. And now I think we need to figure it out together. That's my prayer.
I love it. Thanks, Brenda.
That's my prayer.
Thanks.